Alright, questions and answers. Try to blaze through this before this battery runs down the camcorder. So we got about a half hour here. I'm going to skim over the positive comments. Thank you guys for the positive comments. I'm just going to try to address the questions. Alright. How many years of hard work? Sorry if you answered that before. 20. Now, that doesn't mean every single day I lifted for 20 years. I've gone through stages where I might only lifted once a week, okay? I've done every kind of different thing over those years, but in some form or another, I've been using resistance training for 20 years, okay? And the last 3 years have been very serious and dedicated every day. Okay, before going to bed, do you feel like you have too much energy because of all the calories? As far as intermittent fasting, actually, I experienced the opposite. I have a lot of energy all day when I'm not eating, and then when I eat all those calories in a short time at night, it calms me down, shifts me into another mode. It's yin and yang, that kind of shifts me into yin mode, where it's time to rest and rebuild. So that's the way it works for me. Okay, awesome channel, especially the exercises you use and invent. Can you give me some suggestions about leg training? My legs are very long compared to my torso. When I touch my quads with my chest, my knees are at my chin. Gives me a hard time squatting efficiently and building good legs. Any recommendations on exercise to build some solid legs despite my leverages? Yeah, I'm just getting back into serious leg training myself because I hurt my knees and now they're healed. So there's going to be more interesting leg training type stuff and videos. But for now, check out my unique leg training exercises, videos 1, 2, and 3, okay? And also one that yesterday I retitled, hold on, let me look it up here for you. Whack Job Quads. Whack Job Quads. Check out that video too, okay? That and my 3 unique leg training videos. They're all under the fitness playlist. Check it out, my friend. Alright, how to overcome pornography addiction. Been fighting against this. Need greater control. Okay, you're describing having extra high appetites for a lot of things in life here. Me too, I understand. Looking for temperance and control. Put your vital impulses under control and reason. Any insights? You've been studying some metaphysical stuff here. Yeah, now I've had that same conundrum in life, an excess of all sorts of appetites and energies. It seems like an excess when it's just burning you up inside because you can't figure out where you're supposed to use that and you're frustrated. I've learned to channel it into other things. That's what I've done. That's a lot of how I built this body, and we can get into that deeper if you want to. You're talking about addictions here. I would say with any type of addiction, here's what I've learned. Resistance makes things stronger. That's one of the weird laws about how this universe works. So the more you judge that thing and dislike it and try to hate it away, it's just going to get stronger in your life. Stop judging the activity, accept it, there's nothing wrong with it. You're simply choosing to do less of that and more of other things. So embrace it, accept it, give it a little hug, and then relax and kind of let it go. Another thing that helps is you need a vision for what you want to be doing with all that energy and extra time you're going to have. You need a positive vision, something to be excited and passionate about to pour all that energy into, okay? Because just stopping something that's a big part of your time and your current focus and then just having a void there, that makes it much more difficult. When you have a vision for what you want to do with that energy and time, something you actually really care about, and you can get involved with that, that really helps, okay? What else can I say about addiction? Addiction is always about a feeling is coming up that you don't really want to feel, so you use that addiction. And look, not all addictions are even destructive. Some of them are positive things, but they can still be an addiction. The world's full of workaholics, for example, okay? And some of what they're working on is good constructive stuff, but an addiction's an addiction. If you can sit with yourself and allow yourself to feel and experience whatever's trying to come up, those feelings. Don't do anything, don't make any decisions, and don't do anything from those feelings. Just sit with them and let them process and let them move through you, and you'll find there's usually a pearl of wisdom or power or something on the other side of those feelings that we get into addictive behavior so we don't have to sit through those feelings. We'd rather just stay busy doing something. We're replacing a feeling with something else, but you'll find that those feelings of fear, anger, sadness, or whatever it is that's uncomfortable, they won't destroy you. Just sit through them, and there will be something valuable trying to come up on the other side of those feelings. This is your soul, if you're willing to, accept that you have one, bubbling certain things to the surface, and all you have to do is just sit through it. You don't have to do anything with those uncomfortable feelings. Just observe them, and then they will pass, and you'll see what's on the other side. Those are the tidbits I can give you about addiction. If you want to talk about it more, we can. You can even private message me, and this goes for anybody. You can private message me on here if you want to talk about stuff that, it'd be easier to talk about one-on-one instead of, having the whole world commenting on it at the same time. Feel free to do that, guys. I'm there for you that way too, just so you know. Okay. Your physique is insane. Can we get front posing and check the chesticles? I love that word, chesticles. Makes me want to laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm sure sometime I'll do some kind of chest posing. I'll get into that at some point, I suppose. Alright, what are your thoughts on Pavel's Power to the People? Did it influence you? I haven't read it. I'm assuming it's a book. If it really does give power to the people, I'm all for it. That's a lot of what I'm about. Is not giving power to you, but helping you realize you had it all along. It's just that your perception has been trained a certain way, so you don't know where to find it within yourself, okay? That's one of the big issues on this planet. That kind of wisdom and knowledge is not for everybody. It's for those who want it. A lot of people, they may talk about poor me, but they don't actually want to be empowered. They don't actually want the responsibility that comes with finding your own power. But if you do, like I said, hit me up. We can talk about it more. You can private message me if you want, or publicly, because a lot of this stuff is good for anybody to learn from who happens to be reading it. So let me know about that. Okay, man, I love your channel. Never stop helping people like you're doing. By the way, how do you know you're making progress with your training if you have no rules? Do you actually write down weights and reps that you were doing to ensure always going up? Usually I only write down maxes on certain lifts to keep track of what I've done on it, because then I'll stop doing that lift for a while, and then like months later I'll come back to it, and I like to have written down what I got to last time, so this time I know where I'm going to go past. But as far as writing things down, not really. My left brain is actually very strong and analytical and logical, and I keep track of a lot of things there. I let my right brain lead the way I train, but my left brain watches and makes sure we're doing things that actually cause progression. For example, let's say I do 4 different back workouts over, it doesn't matter if this takes me 1 week or if it takes me 3 weeks. Let's say I'm into Yates rows at the moment, and I'm doing that in all 4 of those workouts. My left brain will make sure that I either add in more reps on some of those sets with the same weight, or more weight and similar reps, or if I'm doing the same weight and reps and sets, I do it in a shorter amount of time with shorter breaks. My left brain enforces those things. It makes sure that I apply proper overload principles to all this creative, abstract, unusual patterns of training that I'm doing. So it's really, it's about, it's both sides of the mind working together here. So yes, I do keep track of making sure that I'm progressing on certain things. Now let's say I come into a 5th back workout and I don't feel like doing heavier Yates rows than I have on the last 4. Now it's time to switch up what exercises I'm using on that part of my back. I'll throw in a completely different exercise that I haven't used for a month or 2, and I'll shock those muscles with that. And if I choose to use that exercise, let's say it's weighted chin-ups for my heavy lat training, for say 3 or 4 workouts, I'll make sure that I'm progressing at that, either adding weight or adding reps or doing the same weight and reps but in a shorter amount of time. overload principles. I do apply overload principles. It's just that my overall pattern of training is very free and very creative, okay? I hope that makes sense. If you want more specifics, just ask me and, we'll continue to elaborate from there. Good question, thank you. Do you overhead press as well, or is this your only medial delt exercise? I'm definitely into overhead presses now because I suck at them, because I avoided them for decades. I just wasn't into it. I was too busy bench pressing like everybody else. So now what I've done is I've taken bench press away from myself, and instead that amount of time and energy and focus now goes into overhead pressing. So a year from now, I'm not going to suck at it anymore. I'm going to have something good to show for overhead pressing, and I will at that point. Right now I don't have anything that I consider, worth showing. I'm too uncoordinated, I'm too sloppy, I'm not there with it yet, but I'm doing it instead of bench press. I'm teaching myself to overhead press, okay? So yeah, very important, and it definitely adds to your front deltoids, and depending on your grip and body positioning, it can add to your medial delts too. I've been able to make them sore depending on how I do it, but yes, I do overhead press, and yes, it's important, and I consider it to be a more manly and awesome and functional pressing movement than laying on your back and bench pressing is ever going to be, okay? Just, that's my 2 cents. Even though I still suck at it, that's the way I look at it, and that's why I'm going to make myself good at it. Alright, thank you for that. Nether rack pull, that's Ludo Sterling, that's your idea for the Name This Lift Please exercise. Again, I'm gonna mention this, everybody check out the Name This Lift Please exercise and post your ideas for a name on that thread with that lift, because after a while we're gonna name it. It's another one of the ones we get to name on this channel, because I've never seen anybody do it. You tell me what you think. Thank you for that idea, that's a good one. I think having nether somewhere in the title is a very good idea, because that's the kind of stuff that's coming from this channel, and it's coming through the twisted nether. Ideas from a whole nother plane. Alright, cool. Do you plan on competing in bodybuilding or weightlifting? If I had a physique like that, I would try something. I don't plan on competing in bodybuilding. I build this body to suit me, I was surprised that when I did a back pose, that's what got the most views. Now I realize that's what sells, like, just show people the goods. So at this point I'm probably going to get better at bodybuilding so I can show more cool poses and grow this channel better. But I don't have any interest in getting on a stage and doing it. That's just not my thing. I actually have a sport that I compete in that I'm not really mentioning or talking about right now for weird personal life reasons. But down the line, when I get that stuff sorted out, I will share with you guys what I actually compete at and how some of this stuff serves me well in that, okay? So we'll get to that. But no, not really interested in competing as a weightlifter or a bodybuilder. I compete with myself in my own dungeon, and I don't worry about what anybody else can do, and that's probably why I lift things that people think are unliftable, because I don't even bother comparing myself to what other people think is unliftable. So I'm allowed to just expand further and further as my mind is able to accept that heavier weights are not really as scary as people would have you think they are. I hope that makes some kind of sense. I agree with you on this stuff. Okay, this is about my mental illness and other cool labels video, which I recommend anyone. It's entertaining, and the messages in it are important to think about. It can keep some of you out of some traps that can really limit your life, okay? Check that video out and share it with anyone you think it might be relevant to. It says, you agree with me on this. Hearing you speaks like hearing myself think. I have ADHD, and it's not a disability or anything like that. It's a blessing, and I love who I am. Awesome, man. Yeah, you have a fast mind that tries to keep track of a lot of things. And in this society, they want to drug you, and they want to take away your rights because of that, because your mind's a bit unusual and capable of things that maybe the common denominator's minds are not so capable of. Isn't that weird how upside down everything is? But if you buy into the idea that something's wrong with you, then your life becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that there's all these things wrong with me. That's part of the message in that video, guys. Please check it out and share it with anybody out there, because this actually applies to a lot of people, especially young people coming up in this messed up society. This message needs to be out there. Alright, it's a blessing and I love who I am. I've always said that I don't fucking have an ADHD, I'm just different. Yeah, you don't need a title just because you're different. You don't need a label, you know. Labels are for categorizing people and limiting them. It's bullshit. I agree. The way different than normal people. ADHD is just labeling people that have these traits that I'm so happy with that I got. If the majority of the population had ADHD, the normal ones would be labeled something else. Exactly. It's just herd behavior. If you're a little different than the herd, you know, oh, we got to label it and put it in a box and lock it up because we're scared of it. It's ridiculous and crazy, and I'm glad you can see that, man. Help spread this video and this message to anywhere, and you know, you think it can do some good. I appreciate you talking about this, and I appreciate you as a person. It feels good listening to you and knowing I'm not alone thinking like this. I don't get along with people because people are delusional and fake as fuck. Most can't think for themselves, and they all buy into this illusion that labels are illnesses. I'm not suffering fuck all, I'm just different in a good way. You rock, dude. You made my day. Awesome, man. Thank you. That's what it's all about. People realizing that society will make you think you're all fucked up and you're a problem. If you can look at this the other way around and realize that all the brilliant geniuses who ever changed humanity had all these things that you would call mental illness, and then they take your rights away and they drug you and make you drool on yourself because society's what? Scared of you, or they don't have time for you to be different than, you know, I don't need to preach about it. Guys, just watch the video. But that's awesome, man. I'm really glad you understand that just because you have something extra going on in your head doesn't mean you're some kind of criminal that needs to have all their rights and freedoms taken away. And I'm glad you have a healthy view of yourself, because that'll allow you to use your unusual mind for productive things instead of self-destructive things because somebody's convinced you there's something wrong with you. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It means a lot. I'm glad somebody gets it. Alright, how to be intimidating and respected. Well, you're going to have to carry within you a high level of self-respect and a high level of empowerment. There's a lot of different paths to this. Feel free to research it and figure out what's going to work best for you. For me, having the kind of training and experience to know that I can kill people with my bare hands about 12 different ways without breaking a sweat, that's what finally gave me the vibration of self-respect and confidence that causes nobody to ever mess with me. Like, there's times I've actually wished, because I was having one of those, it's just one of those days, you know, I was walking around with my chainsaw just wishing somebody would start some shit. As soon as I embodied the ability to know that I can hand people their ass like it's nothing, nobody ever messes with me anymore, you know, for the most part. Now, along with that, you need to have the maturity not to use it against people. If you actually do make yourself into a living weapon, you need to have the maturity not to be a petty person and go around hurting people just because you can. Don't become the bully that you originally set out to stop, in other words, okay? So that's my 2 cents on that. Your question's a little vague. I'm not sure how old you are, where you live, what you're really going through. But one way or another, in order to be intimidating and respected, you're going to have to develop a high level of respect for yourself. Whatever that takes for you to know that you are the shit, so you don't have any doubts about that anymore, then you won't be attracting people to you to show you your own doubts about how big of a man you are. I hope that makes sense. It's a bit of a metaphysical concept, and there's a lot of ways to attain that. Mine's one path. I'm sure there's others. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying, and if not, we can definitely talk about it more. Red pill shooting the blue pills, or shooing the blue pills, yeah. My detoxification video. Exactly. You know, there's a lot of people that it's like, look, if you're going to be easily scared and offended and anything outside the box is too much for you, don't give yourself an ulcer trying to watch one of my videos. Just go watch, you know, pop culture stuff that you're comfortable with. And also there's a bit of reverse psychology there, because if that fires somebody up and they say, oh, you don't get to tell me I'm a blue pill, then they'll stay and watch the video and they might actually get something out of it. If you know you're a red pill, that's one thing. If you think you might be the blue pill, maybe what I say pisses you off and then you actually watch the video out of stubbornness, you might learn something. You might stubbornly step up and prove me wrong, prove that you can apply some of these things and benefit your life with it. And you can step outside the herd mentality. So there's kind of a double-edged sword in when I do things like that in a video. But thanks for noticing the humor in it. What's your max overhead press? Ask me a year from now when it's not shit, okay? I'm going to wait till I have something to show there. Okay, some tricep growth wisdom. You tried a lot of different things, but you're looking for something a little outside the box. Let me give you one thing at a time. You know what dumbbell pullovers are? And you hear people argue whether it's a lat exercise or a chest exercise. Do heavy dumbbell pullovers focusing on your triceps, ignoring both your lats and chest. Okay, descend fast with the weight and then decelerate it in a strong negative, and you will feel a stretch overload on the long head of your triceps. Bend the arms a little as you're doing it. Okay, not full range, not like a French press or something, but do a little bit of arm bending. Keep your hands behind you on the bench, okay? Don't come over your head with the dumbbell at all. Keep it back. Focus on stretching, overload the triceps, and then bring it up, but not all the way up. Keep the tension on them the entire time, okay? Try heavy dumbbell pullovers, focusing on your triceps. Use your mind to figure out which range of motion and which elbow position and which body position and which bench setting suits you the best to blast the shit out of the long head of your triceps. Try it. To me, that exercise is much better for triceps than it is for chest or lats. I think it's kind of a half-ass exercise for chest and lats. But if you use it right, you can devastate the long head of your triceps, okay? The other heads of your triceps will get growth off it too. But you need to focus on the long head, or you're going to end up with very weird triceps that I ended up with, and I've been doing everything I can to balance them out and fix them. Because most tricep exercises don't hit the long head, and it's the one that's going to give you the most bang for your buck down the line, having awesome looking triceps. Try that. Let me know if I need to help you troubleshoot it so you can understand what I'm getting at there. Alright? But let's do this one thing at a time. One thing at a time, one new tool at a time in your arsenal. It helps to really focus and learn one new weapon for your arsenal at a time. Okay? Rather than me throwing 6 different exercises at you and saying, just go, go nuts with those. I think it's better to get one new thing at a time. Okay. I like how you're quoting me. You'll get crooked as fuck. Yeah. Let's make a cool quote book out of shit that just pours out of my Tourette syndrome sense of humor mouth that I have. Back workout, yes please. Okay guys, I think today I might do stage 1 of a 3-day back workout series to show you guys how I dig into back. And today's stage 1 will be lats only, okay? That's what I'm really thinking. We'll see. You'll see later tonight if that's what I decided to do or not. But that's what's on my mind for training today. Positive comments. Looks good. Alright. I think I answered the majority of the basic questions for today that I was behind on. If I missed yours, repost it. Seriously, I'm not avoiding anybody. Not avoiding any topics. Nothing is too taboo. Nothing shocks me. Seriously. So, bring it on. And if it's something you'd rather discuss in private because you don't need a bunch of weird comments about it, hit me up with a private message and we can talk about it there. I'm here for you guys in whichever way. Alright? So I guess that's it for the question and answers. I need to start gearing up for back workout stage 1, day 1, right? Lat blastification. May the force be with you!